AITA for forwarding my wife an Instagram reel of a recipe after she asked what I want for dinner tomorrow. My wife asked me what I'd like for dinner tomorrow, and I was thinking about it. I saw this Instagram reel of a yummy-looking recipe. I forwarded it to her. Said she could try cooking this. She went ballistic at me, saying that only she cooks, that I never cook, that she's not a servant whose job is only to cook and I order her around what to cook. I literally didn't order her around. I didn't say cook this for me or else. She asked for suggestions, so I gave one. That's it. I told her we can go to a restaurant instead, or we can try cooking it together on the weekend. I literally never ordered her to cook for me or told her. She merely asked for a suggestion, so I gave one. Additional notes because everyone's asking the same questions and I can't reply to 200 comments. I never cook. I do the dishes every day and other chores, but I finish work late and it's easier for me to just either eat out on weekends or some simple packaged food. I can do pan-fry steak. It was a simple beef noodle recipe that looked yum. She's done more complex things and similar things before. She likes trying new recipes and has even told me she does. Even if I did something wrong, I didn't deserve to get shouted at it. Insane that you guys are still commenting on an argument that I had almost a week ago, whereas my wife and I have completely forgotten about it and made up. AITA for telling my neighbor that people hate her for the construction work being done on her house. I, 23, have a neighbor who's been at their house for just over a year. For 7 months out of that year, they've had basically non-stop construction and work being done to their house. I have no idea what they could possibly be doing. The construction is non-stop, starting at 8 a.m., sometimes even earlier. Not only is the construction itself loud, but the workers are loud. They're always yelling, singing, playing music. If you ask them to be quieter because it's 8 a.m. on a Saturday, they retaliate and get louder. They throw stuff into people's gardens and physically enter those gardens to retrieve whatever they threw down. Their vans block the roads when people are trying to get to work, school, and they get really pissy when asked to move them. Additionally, because our houses are attached, I'm having physical symptoms to the work being done, vibrations from tools giving me horrific migraines, etc. I genuinely do not know what they could be doing that requires 7 months of continuous work. It's not an extension, and all the work seems to be exterior. A few days ago, the neighbor asks me why there is so much tension between her and the surrounding houses. Maybe I'm cruel, but I looked at her and said, "Neighbor, you've had loud construction work at your house every day for the past 7 months. People are tired." She looked genuinely upset but said ok. Her husband confronted me a few days ago and said I was being a douchebag for getting mad at construction work. Because of course that shit is loud. He accused me of blaming his wife for the workers' behavior, which I wasn't, and said the house needs this work to be livable. He ended the conversation by saying he praised my house never needs construction work, which I honestly found kind of funny. AITA for telling my neighbor why there's tension between her and her husband and the surrounding families. EDID. People have made complaints and gone to the local council. We were basically told that as long as the noise is between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. and 8 a.m. 1 p.m., we can't make a complaint. Neighbors do have permits as well. My girlfriend keeps porn of herself with her exes. Not sure if this is the right subreddit to ask this for, but since it's quite an intimate topic, I have nowhere else to go to. So I appreciate some honest advice. When my girlfriend and I started dating 3 years ago, we didn't think that we would end up together long term because she has been an exchange student at my uni at the time. So we kept it very casual and enjoyed the sex with each other while openly talking about everything we desired. Ironically, this honest and open way of communication was what brought us together eventually. Since the beginning, we've always been dead honest about what turns us on, and we chat about it a lot until we saw each other again. That included pictures and videos of her with old exes. She's also sent some stuff of her getting fucked in quite a few positions. It was absolutely hot to see her like that, and she admitted that she used the videos to masturbate to when she was alone. It was an ultimate turn on for me at the time. Fast forward to now, we're together for 3 years, and we're in a happy, stable, committed, and monogamous relationship. But of course I've never forgot that, and I tried to talk about it openly. By now, we've had quite a few heated arguments about this. I told her that I don't see why she would not delete them by now, since I feel uncomfortable that she still has so much stuff with her and her exes. Understandably, in my opinion. She made the point that she has always been open and upfront about it with me, and that I have seen them from the beginning, and that I liked them. She also admitted that it's still a turn on for her to see herself like this, almost as if she was proud of them. And lastly, that the focus is always on her and not on the guys. The last point is debatable because all of them clearly show them penetrating her. She is right about all of this. She was upfront. She has always been honest about who the guys were. And I did enjoy to see it at the time. And God knows how many times I complimented her on how hot she looked in it. But this was before we got into a long-term relationship. I guess anyone from outside can also understand my point. My claim is simple. Yes, I enjoyed it at the time, but now we're in a relationship and I rather wouldn't want her to keep these videos any longer. Any suggestions? F25 married to husband M33. I feel like a glorified bangmaid. EDK, what to do? My husband and I have 3 young kids together and have been married for 5 years. We have some issues in our marriage, but overall it's fine. I massage him with lots of help, which he makes sure I have, and I'm very thankful for the help. I've been feeling like I rushed my life, got married really young, and then had my first kid at 21, and he was 29. He has his own business and trades, so that's how he supports us. I also have my own income, so I'm not trapped financially. My days start almost every morning with him wanting to have sex before he goes to work. Even if I was sleeping in one of our kids' bed to help them sleep, he will come and get me in the morning just so that we can sex. During the days I cook, clean, take care of our kids with the help of my MIL, which I love her. She lives in our basement MIL suite, so it's private and separate from the rest of the house. We also have sex every night, and at least twice a week I give him a BJ because it relaxes him. He does a good job at warming me up before initiating sex because he knows his success rate will be higher. I love our kids and want maybe one more, but I also don't want another one for a while since all our 3 kids are under the age of 5. He wants more and all the kids we can have, and I feel like he has a breeding kink and loves me to have his kids. I feel blessed in some ways, but in other ways I feel like a bangmaid. I don't know what to do. I feel lost in my identity. AITA for leaving my grandchildren alone. I'm 45 years old, I had my children young, and I was a stay-at-home mom my whole life. When my kids finished college, I thought I was finally going to get a break and maybe go on vacations with my husband, just the 2 of us. But soon, all 3 of my kids got engaged and had babies. Don't get me wrong, I love my grandchildren, but I'm exhausted, and I wanted to take a break. When my eldest son first asked me to take care of his kids for the day, I didn't think much of it, but soon it became every day of the week. I wanted to be fair, so I also agreed to take care of my other grandchildren. The problem is that I now take care of them 5 days a week, from 6 a.m. to 9 to 10 p.m. I cook for them, take them to school, bathe them, clean the house, take them to extracurricular activities after school, everything. I'm taking care of 4 kids on my own, and I'm exhausted. Eventually, I got tired of it and told my husband we should take some time off and go on a nice 2-week vacation. So I told my sons that I wouldn't be able to take care of their children during that time. When the day came for us to leave, they still dropped the kids off with me. I took the kids to school and told the school to call their parents because I would not be picking them up. None of them showed up, but by then we were already on the highway, so I couldn't go back to get them. They started calling me, but I just texted them that I had told them weeks ago that I was going away, and then I turned off my phone. So am I the asshole? Little update. At the time I was taking a shower, and it was my husband who let them in the morning they left the kids with me, but I was going away. When I came down, I found all of them there plus 2 of my grandkids moved in with me about 3 months ago, but their mother and father, my son left for work and let them sleep thinking I was there to take care of them. Before I got them to school, I called my sons several times, but none of the answer. Time had already passed by, and I didn't want to be late for my trip. I was dumb enough to think they would pick them up at school. For anyone saying it's fake because of the math, I had my kids at 16, as I said I was a young mother, and my kids got engaged and had babies at around 23, 25. Now all of my grandkids are around 5'7". I've been hiding something from my boyfriend for the past 2 years, and now I need to take it to my grave. My boyfriend 26M and I 23F have been together for 5 years and living together for the last 2. We come from somewhat different financial backgrounds. His family wasn't particularly well off growing up, whereas mine was relatively comfortable. The first time I brought him to a soiree with some boarding school mates, he mentioned that he really liked a perfume one of them was wearing. It was a tad pricey though, so he decided against buying it. Long story short, I eventually found an excuse to buy it for him, and he's been wearing it ever since. After a few months, I managed to persuade him to let me replace it whenever he ran out. However, I started noticing that he was using it more sparingly than before. Even though he works in finance, I work in law and earn more than enough to comfortably afford it, he still feels guilty spending money on himself. Since then, I've quietly been refilling his bottle every week from a larger bottle I keep hidden away so that it lasts much longer. The problem is that he has no idea I've been doing this, and now I don't think I can ever tell him. My husband, M31, admitted he lied to me, F29, about a dealbreaker before we got married. About a week before we got married, I told my husband that joining the military would be a dealbreaker for me. I have nothing against people who serve, but I do not want the military spouse lifestyle. I kind of suspected this may be of interest to him, which is why we had this conversation. I eventually want children, and I don't want to raise a family with the possibility of a parent being deployed, absent from military obligations, or put in dangerous situations. I also don't want to move around frequently, and was very clear that this was not a life I wanted for myself. He reassured me and told me it wasn't an issue, and that he had no interest in joining the military. Now, 3 weeks after our wedding, he has told me that he wants to join. He says he may only join the National Guard because it's less dangerous, but he also admitted that joining the military has always been a dream of his. When I asked why he told me he wasn't interested before we got married, he admitted that he lied because he was afraid I would leave him, and immediately started talking about potentially getting a divorce, claiming I'm keeping him from his dreams. I told him that I support him pursuing the life he wants. I don't want to stand in the way of his dreams, and I know that if he gives them up for me, he may resent me for it later. I want to see him become successful at something he loves and 100% support him. My feelings about the military have not changed. I still do not want to be a military spouse, and I still do not want that lifestyle for my future family. More than that, I'm having a hard time getting past the fact that he knowingly lied to me about something he knew was a deal breaker before we got married. I would not have gone through with the marriage knowing this and feel very deceived. I'm trying to figure out how to navigate a situation where my husband wants a future that I explicitly said was incompatible with the life I want, and where he admits he concealed that from me before we got married. How would you approach this situation? And what would you be focusing on if you were in my position?